welcome once again. We are here, G and J. We are a sense of shock. We're about to blow your mind on a topic that you should already know. You should come to know that we love talking about this man right here. And his name is Kratos. He is the fresh maker. He is the bone breaker. He is the man that be snapping necks, and you don't even got time to cash checks because banks weren't even around back then. But I must tell you that Ragnarok is coming.
It is coming.
All right, winter's coming hard. And there's nothing to do but just, there's no preparation.
No.
You just got to accept it and take it for what it is. And I know that we're ready for it because it's coming out on November 9th. And it's going to be a glorious day because, you got to play the game.
Yep.
I hope you pre-ordered the game.
I did. Did you?
I did.
I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was a must.
As soon as they went live.
Like, it was mandatory.
Here's my money.
I was like, I'll be back. I didn't even tell my people. I was like, I gotta go. I'll be back. And it's not like we're busy, so I was able to go over there, get my pre-order down, one and done. And I guess the pre-orders went kind of quick for that edition. So I mean, yeah.
Edition,
I don't really care about the collectors because it's not the top bill, and
that's what I cared about.
Yeah, right.
And that's what I got.
Yes. And I didn't care for the base model. I would have been okay with the digital copy if the Jotner edition was not available to be pre-ordered. If the collector edition was not available to be pre-ordered, but the Jotner edition was.
Yeah.
And I mean, probably number 2, probably number 3. So I mean, we're in. It's in. It's in the books.
Give it to me.
In the records. I know, right? Just give it to me. Take it off your hands. But I kind of want to go in a little bit later. Like, I really kind of want to go in late just to be that guy that's walking out with it.
While the line's there
While
trying
the
to
line
get one.
is trying to get one. But, needless to say...
If you'll excuse me, I actually have one to pick up.
But I'm probably just going to be there at open. And I may leave my PlayStation on so I can input the code and just let it download whilst I'm driving
On
home.
your way there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's
Smart idea.
It's gonna be a moment. Oh, I mean, we give you these ideas to share, not to just keep to ourselves, not to harness, but to give you probable cause and understanding on what you need to do. And what you need to do is, if you haven't, you need to finish watching this, and then after this, go ahead and pre-order God of War Ragnarok.
And if you haven't played the other one, play the other one.
I mean, we would like you to play the other one, but the succession rate is play 2018 God of War and then play Ragnarok, so you can have that seamless flow, kind of like The Matrix. You just want to watch one movie and then watch the other one back to back, but some people have to wait, just like we did for 2018 God of War to now get to 2022 God of War. But that's okay, because Ragnarok is around the corner, and we've got a lot of things that we've seen in the trailer.
Yes.
And I don't know how much anger Freya can display to Kratos to let her know that she is angry and she's a Queen Valkyrie, and she's just like, I want everything that I've lost. I want everyone to be destroyed. I want everyone to feel what I felt.
Yep. And
if you don't know how I feel, let me just give you bullet points on exactly stab, slice, stab. Because, her wings got clipped.
Yep. She was the Queen Valkyrie.
And, she just is just living in a tortoise. And really subjected to utilizing her magic, being a witch, being shunned upon as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then a boy named Atreus caused her to see the beauty of life and the trust of others. And it's just so interesting as you play the game. Certain things you notice, but you just are just going through, and then after a while, after the game, and you've just sat down and
soaked it all in,
and
marinated.
Yes, and the juice. You realize that, like I was telling you off stream, is that when Boulder went to punch Atreus, like that arrow was just like stuck in him, in his hand and everything, and I'm just like, where did that come from? And then you were saying that was from when Atreus had his quiver kind of put together, that kind of snapped apart. That's before you leveled it up, of course.
Right, yeah. Something, I don't exactly remember what happened, but y'all fall, you and Atreus fall or something, and the quiver breaks, and Kratos, given his dad wisdom, is like, oh, a broken quiver only slows us down, boy. And takes the mistletoe arrow out, kind of like breaks it in half, and stitches it, if you will, back together. And so then it's kind of there.
And then as you enter Freya's hut, she sees
the arrows.
She sees the arrows, which is detrimental to everything she knows and loves, and she casts it into the fire pit.
Because what the directors and the developers of the game are banking on is those not super informed of Norse mythology, knowing that Baldur's only weakness is mistletoe. And so also trying to sneak that connection of her being Baldur's mom past you. That's why she cares. Because I'm not going to lie, I knew a decent amount of stuff about Norse mythology going into the game, but I did not know anything about Baldur and things like that. So when I got to that part of the game and she's like, where'd you get those arrows? No, don't you ever touch those. I'm like, why does this care so much about mistletoe arrows? Like, do you not like the color green? Like, what's going on?
Your house is green.
Your house is a turtle.
You got a tree on top of his shell.
It's green.
It's green.
So,
but yeah, so it's about to be destruction.
Yeah. As she says, she's going to rain down every agony, verbatim, on Kratos and Atreus. Well, more so Kratos. I don't think she has a personal
But he's
vendetta.
associated with Kratos, though?
Yeah, but I don't think she has the same hatred towards Atreus. No. She's not going to care if she gets her hands close. Yeah. Because you're kind of an accomplice. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, Kratos snapped his neck, but you had the thing on your chest when he punched you, so really, whose fault was it?
Because Freya could be like, well, you weren't coerced by Kratos. You actually decided to have it upon you, and you used it. You listened to your dad to do that when you didn't have to. You could have sided with me. But yeah, I'm expecting a lot of things as far as, like, you know, we may get adult Atreus in this one as well. Like, because we got like teenage Atreus as we've seen in the trailers. Because we had like kid Atreus, Kid Boy. We had Kid Boy in 2018. Now we got like your teenage angst boy, which is a little bit more, not as snappy, but more wise as well, and how to pretty much make Kratos realize, hey, you know, be a general, don't be a dad. We got a thing to do. We got to end this, or it's gonna end us. It's be all or end.
It is the literal end of the world.
Yeah. So if you want to be, you know, glummy dad and like, oh, you gotta watch out for this. Watch out, Nemo. Don't touch that. Like,
don't touch the boat.
We need classic general, and Kratos just still has so much history and so many memories that he hasn't even shared with Atreus. It's just like, but I foresee us having a more older Atreus, because there's just so many new key characters and just the trailer that can be broken down. I mean, you have the god of war in Norse mythology.
Tyr.
You have Fenrir.
The wolf.
Which is actually Atreus' son.
Yes,
if Loki's son.
If you go by if you go by Norse mythology, Fenrir is Loki's son, and of course at the end, spoiler alert, at the end of 2018's God of War, you find out that even though Kratos wanted to name Atreus, the giants that Faye associated with Kratos' wife, Atreus' mom, they all called him Loki, which was kind of the big bomb that they let loose at the end of the game there.
I don't know if it was that or if it was Thor that really just shocked massage.
For me, I think it was the Loki, because Thor, I expected at some point to make an appearance, because he was also mentioned throughout the game.
Yeah, but you were already at the end, and it was just like...
True,
right,
part of me was kind of hopeful, like, oh, is it still going? Like, I'm not done, thank you.
Dad, I want to go home. Boy.
There's another man outside.
Like that mean. Like that mean. You have Power Rangers at home.
Game started because a man was outside your house. The game ends and there's a man outside your house. It's like, come on now.
Full circle.
Full circle, but...
You're just well equipped.
Yes.
Well equipped.
But yeah, Fenrir in Norse mythology is Loki's son. Mm-hmm. I guess you could still...
And then Loki's wife.
Angerboda, we saw her as well. Jormungandr is also their kid.
Oh, okay.
Because there's Fenrir, Jormungandr, and Hela are the three kids of Loki and Angerboda. So, are we going to see her? Because we didn't see Hela in the first game.
We didn't.
So, I don't know if we're going to see her.
Yeah, and, like, who's going to take the place of, like, those Valkyries? Because I don't... Glutton for punishment. Beat it. Got the platinum. God of War 2018. Do it again if they remastered it on the PS5, which they won't. But I like that challenge, because it's just like adding more to the story. You can start to understand a little bit more, because as you take out each Valkyrie, you get more of an understanding of which Valkyrie that is, how prevalent they are to the entire story, which leads to Freya as well. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. They worked for her. So I would like something like that. I don't really know if I want those crows again.
No.
I don't think I want those crows, because you have to move your analog up, and then you're like, throw. Okay, cool, got you.
And then some are moving and flying, so you have to lead the axe. I didn't hit it. You have to call the axe back.
It's like sniping as they're moving. Like, okay, I have to hit this, but he's gonna come across, so hit here.
Yep.
So I'm intrigued to see what they're going to add as far as like somewhat difficult, because it's going to be a long story. This is 2 games in one.
Originally, they were going to do a trilogy like the other God of War in the Greek pantheon with God of War 1, 2, 3. They were originally going to do that, and then of course, Cory Barlog came out and said like, "Hey, it took us, pretty much 8 years to make God of War after God of War 3, God of War 2018." Took them 8 years to do that. I think, he said 5 years because they started on it in 2013. So 5 years to make that. Well, then if it were to take them another 5 years to do this game, which close, we're at 4. 5 years from there puts you at 2023. And then if they were to do a third one, another 5 or so years puts you at like 2028.
PlayStation 6.
Yeah. And they didn't want to take that long to finish a story. So I don't think they're going to rush it, though. I have full faith. Even though they're combining kind of 2 games into one, because they did say it'll be double the length of 2018's. I don't think they rushed it. So I don't, even though they were like, oh, we want to go ahead and wrap it up, I have no fears or worries of a rushed story.
I don't feel like it's a rushed story. I feel like a lot of things are going to play out quite well. I think they'll slap you right into the action.
Oh, yeah.
Like your God of War 3, I mean, you're climbing that Mount Olympus with those... Richard Titans, and I mean the action's right there, and then your first main battle was Poseidon. It's just like, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay, yeah, let's go right into it. Sure, and I kind of did that with God of War 2 as well. I think 1 was kind of the first installment, so it didn't have to just like rush you because it wanted to introduce you to Kratos. But 2 and 3 really just like put you in the action. God of War 3. Not God of War 3. God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War 2018 gave you more of an understanding of, hey, this is a character but we there's other characters, there's other people you need to know. Let's kind of put
things
this
have changed.
Action. Yeah. The Baldur fight, like, it wasn't like a monumental thing until you realize this man will not stay down. He won't stay down. It's like, man, okay, cool. Boss fight. Sure. I've done this 1,000 times. Boom, boom. Ooh, wait a minute.
Which combo you want? I got plenty.
I put this man through a boulder and slung him by his ankles. It just heaved him, and he's still coming?
I rammed a tree into his midsection through a rock. And he still wants more?
More, sir. So I'm assuming that we're gonna have to get right into the action. I wouldn't be mad if this started off in that trailer that they showed where Kratos was straight up just on that sled with those freaking cyber wolf huskies.
Yes.
And Freya comes at you right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, whoa, wait. I got some meats back here from Costco. I'm trying to bring to Atreus.
I gotta get these in the freezer. My ice cream's gonna melt. Even though we're in the middle of winter. I gotta get home.
So I would like that action to happen right off the gate. Because it would give you that 2018 vibe with Baldur.
Mm-hmm.
To have that fight like right off the get-go. And then something happens to where maybe he like clips her or whatever and she kind of flutters away. But he knows not to kill her. Because he doesn't have any need to kill Freya. She has every need to just impale Kratos. Which he's been impaled 2 times by the... what is that blade? Blade of Olympus.
One of those times was by himself.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, the one with Zeus was kind of rough, though.
Yeah,
that was just like, hey.
Hello, son. You're no son of mine.
I'm bleeding.
No, I definitely, I don't think, I could see that definitely starting with a fight for Freya. I could definitely also see it starting with how 2018 left off, where Thor's at your house.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, all right, and that's, again,
okay,
could be
so
your introduction, like how Baldur was like, all right, let's get it going. And then beat the crap out of Thor, and he's like, okay, wait, you're the real deal. I'm gonna go get Daddy. We come. But no, but like you said, no, definitely Kratos does not have a reason or a need to kill Freya.
Right.
Personally, I think the game is gonna want to have you try to make amends with Freya. Reason I think that could be a plot storyline they'd want to go with is, and with a grain of salt, they do base their games off of real mythology. They do their homework, but they also do take some liberty
To
with
fabricate
things.
it?
Yeah. They take liberty with how they want to do things, which is perfectly fine. Like,
yeah, go
perfectly fine with me. For the most, I mean, 98% of the time, it's Greek mythology, Norse mythology. It's by the book. So taking that with a grain of salt, but in Norse mythology, when Ragnarok happens, the Aesir gods, which are the ones from Asgard, so Thor, Odin, and them, they are at war with the Vanir gods, which is Vanaheim, and Freya was the queen of Vanaheim, and so I could see to where you kind of need to make amends, maybe rekindle some of that lost love, and then be like, all right, cool, go get your army, because we need to go fight Odin.
Bring all the undead!
And maybe even finding a way to kind of help get her wings back, since she was the Queen Valkyrie. And that was one of my kind of theory sort of things that people love to do whenever you beat a game. But when I beat 2018 was finding a way, Kratos and them finding a way to break the curse, because Odin banished Freya to Midgard. Mm-hmm. She can't leave. If you remember, when you go to Alfheim the first time, she like walks through, thinks it's all fine and dandy. 2 seconds later, she's getting sucked back in through the portal. But I could see it to where you kind of have to befriend her again, work out those kinks, build the trust back, and then you help her get her wings back and break the curse, and then she helps you to Vanaheim to get with her army, and then just all out
brawl,
bloodbath of a war for end of the world.
Smash Brothers God of War brawl. So yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to see us play as Atreus though.
I would, not for a whole lot.
Not for a whole lot, but I would like that.
Kratos.
I do, but I would like to see that separation as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I forget where they went, where they separated and Atreus went into rage mode.
Oh, that's when they were in Alfheim and Kratos walked into the light and was going through the whole...
I waited all this time and you were not here. And I just... Boy.
And just bodies.
The bodies at the floor. So I would like kind of that type of element to where you're playing as Atreus and you're seeing different things, because I feel that there are places that can speed up time as to where it's not in real time. So pretty much an older Atreus is going to meet a standard Kratos as well, or maybe even an older Kratos meets just a basic Kratos, and he's like, wow, you look old, Dad. And there's so many reoccurring characters as well that are going to be in this.
Mimir's back. I'm so excited. Can't wait. Well, if the lake's frozen, I was going to say, I can't wait to get back on the boat, but it's kind of froze.
I mean,
so I don't get the story. You can sled. You can go to another realm.
It would be a cool realm.
That's not frozen.
Right. Yeah.
Get on the boat there. Just tell me your stories. And then there's characters coming back, and then there's
Jormungandr.
Jormungandr, of course, will be back. So we think he is. You can see his little body on the little screen of what the game cover art is going to look like, but we haven't seen any footage of him in the game, so we don't know if he's hibernating, or I don't know what snakes do in the winter. Probably not.
Well, they should.
Well, he's a big snake.
They shed their skin.
True.
And they're saying, like, rumors are speculating. There's speculation saying that that's actually an older Kratos. He's an older Kratos. And because remember when...
That Jormungandr's an older Kratos?
Because remember when he throws the axe...
Yeah.
It, like, just goes out and it doesn't, like, really come back to Kratos quickly like it should. So they're saying that there's a
I mean, it could happen.
Commonality.
It could happen, but I find it would be weird.
Oh, it'd be weird.
If Jormungandr was an older Kratos, but Jormungandr is Loki's son, and Atreus is Loki, and Atreus is Kratos' son. Whatever.
I mean, it's
I don't care.
Weird things that happen.
Weird things that happen.
And another thing that's been said is that no video game wants to be around this time slot of November 9th. Like, a lot of games are being slated to be pushed away from November 9th because they don't want the juggernaut of God of War Ragnarok to compete up against. Now, if you want Labo 2 to come out, let's go. Nintendo, do it again. 2 times in a row. You thought Labo 1 was something. Wait for the sequel. Labo Breath of the Wild.
So when you spoke of throwing the axe in the water in the previous game.
In the mist,
yeah. When you throw the axe in the water, you read the statue, throw your arms into the water, whatever it says. Of course, Jormungandr comes out of the water and he spits the axe out, lands on stabs into the boat, and then you notice there's a thing that pops up and it says, like, I really don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like EITR, Eater, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it says Eater imbued. There's no explanation on that in the game. It just pops up and says it. I noticed it first playthrough, never spoke anything of it.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I got to thinking, kind of like with the mistletoe arrows for Atreus, how he has it on the quiver, and that's Baldur's weakness. Punches Atreus in the chest, stuck with the mistletoe, now he's vulnerable.
Correct.
Kind of how, yes, in mythology, that is how you kill Baldur. That's how you make him weak. And just like in Norse mythology, Loki was kind of the god of mischief, and he tricked people into doing that to make Baldur vulnerable. Well, again, sneaking things past you in the game, punches the mistletoe, turns out Atreus is Loki, so he's involved in that whole thing with Baldur making him vulnerable. Now flashing forward, how they do things in a sneaky way. So flashing forward to this game, with that axe being imbued from Jormungandr. In Norse mythology, Thor kills Jormungandr.
Correct.
But Jormungandr at one point bites Thor in the battle, and his poison kills Thor.
Yes.
So what if the stuff imbued into your axe is the venom of Jormungandr? And so maybe Thor, I hope not, because I like Jormungandr, kills Jormungandr. but it's a sneaky way that they could do it to where, like I said, they put their own twist on things, but they still keep it relatively by the book.
But I don't like things being too subtle, because I would like, and then it's a flashback of, oh wow, this happened in 2018.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that makes sense. That's where that's connected, which makes sense, because your standard gamer that really enjoyed 2018 is their first initiation to God of War. Mm-hmm. They're not going to remember certain things that happened in 2018. They're like, what's the next thing? I don't remember what happened. I enjoyed the game. I played it. Boom. Why did that happen?
What's this mean? Fair.
So I would like to see some flashbacks of things that are remembered. I would like this game to be stretched out for just to know that it's going to be somewhat of a short game, because you're getting right into the action on a lot of the stuff. A lot of final acts are happening, and they need to happen, and there needs to be parts of this game that needs to slow down as well. Bring in the action, bring the climax, but also slow it down as well, so it can get your gamer to really invested in it instead of just kill, because we need story. That you need this game to be better than the first one, because you know what's at stake of Ragnarok, but certain things need to play out. That's why 2018 was so good, because there were so many different areas you were going to kind of discover those new areas and kind of see, what you can discover, what you can pick up, and how you can take that into the next realm.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it's going to be a pretty decent length game. I want to say, I think I heard or read somewhere that they did say it'll be around 40 hours for the story, because they're putting two games into one.
Yeah.
2018 did take 20, give or take, hours through just the story. So if they are doing two games in one, if each story were to be 20 hours long...
That's a work shift.
That's a
work week.
That's fine.
Work sheet.
That's fine. I'll be off work that week anyways, so that's fine. But like you said, I think there's outside of the game realm in Norse mythology, when Ragnarok hits, it's on. Like, there's no let's slow down to do this. Like, so no, like, and I think they'll get that point across in the game. Like, yes, you're gonna have moments where they do slow it down, because you're gonna have new characters. You're gonna have to build that attachment to, get that background to. But then there's a lot of questions that need to be answered in this game from 2018's. Two questions that come to my mind, and maybe you've had these questions too, and maybe you have other questions that I won't mention in these two. One, if you think back to 2018, there was the time where I believe it was right after Atreus fell sick. He tried to go rage mode against Modi.
Yeah.
And about died.
Yeah.
And when you're taking him to the witch's house and you're going up the elevator, someone blows the horn to summon the snake.
Mm-hmm.
And Kratos asks Mimir, who did that? And the game never explains it. So I think that's going to play a very big role. I mean, obviously people theorize, it was Baldur trying to figure out where they were, and different things. And it may not be anything major, but I feel like it will be. And then, of course... It's a loose end. And then, of course, probably the biggest one that people are making the biggest theories about is the mural at the end.
Yeah.
Because...
It showed Kratos, dead.
If you think it's Kratos.
Yeah.
I necessarily don't.
You don't want him to be.
I don't want it to be, no. But for me, why I don't think it would be him is if you do look at the mural, if you look at a still image of it, granted, yes, he could take it off, but the picture isn't showing the shoulder pad. Mm-hmm. You don't see the red mark, of course, because you're looking at it from the right side. Kratos is on his left. But another thing if you look at it on the wall, there's a little smudge or a chip in the rocks, but he's missing the bottom half of his right arm.
Oh.
And in Norse mythology, Tyr gets half of his right arm bitten off by Fenrir.
Yeah.
So,
that would be a God of War, though.
Tyr is the god of war in Norse mythology. And so then that leads to belief, because from the trailers, of course, Atreus, you hear him basically talking to Kratos, and he's like, are we going to find Tyr? So then it's like, is Atreus going to build some kind of pact or different connection with Tyr that, he doesn't necessarily get with Kratos? Because then you have to explain to, whether it's Kratos, whether it's Tyr, whoever it is Atreus is holding, what's the deal with the smoke stuff coming out of his mouth into the other person's. So, I think that's the biggest question that needs to be answered. And it will be, but who knows what it is going to be.
Yeah, I mean...
It's all up for speculation until November 9th.
True. I mean, it could be that primal rage that Kratos has had as a general for Ares, the god of... the Greek god of war. Mm-hmm. And so by Kratos hearing Atreus saying that I don't need a father, I need a general, you think like a general, maybe Tyr has that just raw. Because I mean, when we seen him in a stupor state, like he was just there, just like, what's up? And then he stands up and like, wow, you're really tall, mister.
Super tall.
So maybe he's just tired of not wanting to just battle and feels like it's vanity. It's meaningless to just consistently be at war. To where he's just in a beaten stupor state. And maybe Atreus, Loki's just going to rev him up to get him like, hey, you need to be who you used to be. You have a purpose. Fulfill your purpose. And then he gets out there and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to beat these people up. And somebody's like, nah, fam. Yeah. And then Finrand's like, ah. And he's like, oh, shoot. I didn't realize it was that real. I'm not supposed to be in these streets. I'm sorry. So I don't know what to anticipate, but that's what I would like to see. I would like to see him try to get that last hoorah before he goes out. If it's Tyr, of course we don't want Kratos to go bye-bye. I mean, heck, we saw Iron Man go bye-bye, so... and we seen Joel in The Last of Us.
And Aunt May.
Yeah, but she didn't do much.
No, she did so much for the community.
That's what you got Miles for.
Fair. But still. Could have been MJ.
Could have been MJ. Anybody. But Aunt May. But hey, Uncle Ben went out, so she had to go out as well.
True.
So it's only fitting. But that's Spider-Man, and that's Spider-Man 2 that we'll talk about.
That's next year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when that event comes into fruition. But God of War is going to be great. I don't think they're going to do anything else special as far as skins or controllers. Anything's possible now that I think about it. I mean, they do
game ain't out yet.
Yeah, the game's not out yet. They're like, you know what? Here's a faceplate. We'll sell it for $60.
Take my
money. Okay. Here comes a new challenger. Yeah, so it's going to be great. I'm excited for those with the PlayStation 4. They'll be able to play it as well. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't give you an excuse not to play it. This gives you every excuse to play it. Mm-hmm. And if you have PlayStation 5, you know what to do. You should already be on your docket. Bottom line, there shouldn't be a question. But hey, what are you guys expecting to see in God of War? Ragnarok. We'd love to know in the comment section below. You've already heard our thoughts, our wishes, our desires, but we want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
So, without further ado, we're going to let you do what you do, and we will holler at you later. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share this video. Let your people know. Comment in the section below.
Tell your friends.
Tell your mommy. Tell your pappy. Tell your Gigi. Tell your babies. Tell your coworkers. Tell your enemies. Tell your bosses. Tell their boss's boss. And tell your pastor that you need to be watching this goodness. Until then, we'll see you when we see you. Peace.